I'm Chioma Isiadinso, CEO of Expartus, and I'm going to be talking to you today about how career changers can apply successfully to top business schools. The two things that I wanted to mention. The first one is that career changers need to make sure that their goals are realistic. What do I mean by that? I'll give you a couple of examples. The first is an example of someone who's a school teacher who says they want to get an MBA because they want to get into venture capital. That's one potential story. The other example would be someone who is, for instance, an accountant who is passionate about investing and was part of the investment club in college, has taken a CFA and passed all three levels, and is really passionate about getting into asset management. In these two examples, I think it's quite clear that the person who is the accountant who's looking to make a move into investment management is more likely to have to be admitted because the story is realistic, versus someone who is in an industry that is quite different, who's trying to make a change. It's not that you can't make a change to another industry. Absolutely, that is actually the norm. A lot of people make industry changes. What you've got to make sure of is that the change that you're proposing you're going to make is realistic, it's believable to the admissions board. So there has to be some kind of a bridge. In the case of that accountant, he had invested in the heavy and rigorous studying for the CFA and had done very well. He has examples of interest in investment through his college involvement in the investment club. If you're a teacher and you've been teaching, it's a fantastic profession. My mom's a teacher, and that's fantastic. But make sure that when you then say what it is you want to do in the long term, that you can connect a bridge to some of the things you've done currently and some of the things you want to do through the MBA to get to that end point. And venture capital from teaching is, they are miles apart. So make sure you're realistic. And then the second thing that I would encourage career changers to think about when they apply is that you need to make sure that you have a game plan. So let's say, for example, you're in an interview and you ask the question, okay, so you said you want to do this. How would you make the transition? How do you plan to make that transition? Make sure you have a plan in mind. I'll give you an example. We had a client of ours who had interviewed with a top UK school, and the board member who interviewed him asked him explicitly, like, walk me through how you will transition from point A to point B into the new career. Fortunately, it was something we had prepped him for with his interview preparation, and he was able to ace that question because he had a plan. He wasn't looking to the school to provide, all his career needs. So that's something that schools can be quite wary about with career changes, is that they're looking at the MBA as a silver bullet to getting them from point A to point B. So whatever you do, make sure that you have a game plan that you can talk about when, whether in an application or even in an interview. And make sure you keep your career goals realistic and be able to back it up in terms of what you've done or interest in that area. Okay, so I hope this has been helpful. It's always a pleasure sharing some thoughts with you on the admissions process and tips to give you an edge in the process. I look forward to talking again, and have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye.